Sunday, NASCAR race day tears into Talladega, where Texas winner Denny Hamlin will join us. Plus, Kyle and Kenny weigh in on the rough driving between teammates Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. That's NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot live Sunday at 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
We're going to take a look back at the 1987 accident involving Bobby Allison that really ushered in restrictor plates. Happened right here in the Tri-Oval back in 1987. There's our lucky dog. Frank was able to get that Aaron's lucky dog. He will be back on the lead lap, and all his speeding penalties now have been nullified.
Let's go back down to pit road and get an update on who came down. Wendy?
Well, the Venturini Motorsports team, all 5 cars decided to come down and top off with fuel. The 15, 25, 35, 55, and 66 have a game plan, and they're sticking to it. They're all in the back of the pack right now, but expect those guys and Allie to freight train, hopefully, and stick together in that draft, stick with their teammates, and get back up front. They are good to go on fuel. Jim?
And they'll have a super speedway veteran in Bobby Gerhardt. He's won once here, 6 at Daytona. He came down pit road just now and pitted the very last car on pit road on lap 31. Not only did they want fuel, they wanted to jack the car to get every ounce of the fuel in this race car. If anyone knows how to get maximum mileage, it's the Gerhardt brothers, and Billy made the call and Bobby came down. They jacked the left side just to get more fuel packed in the fuel, so that Lucas Oil Chevy.
Guys, I talked to Billy Gerhardt this morning. I said, what kind of fuel mileage you get? He said, really, really good. He said, this car is exactly like we had at Daytona, with one exception. We have a different carburetor to get better fuel mileage. I think that they may be in their window right now and make it the rest of the way, even without the aid of more caution flags.
If anybody can do it, they can.
Yeah, that's a big strategy that they have played before and went on to victory lane. Coming through the Tri-Oval, green flag back in the air. We're racing at Talladega once again.
I think the front 6 cars have not made their way to pit road as of yet. Dakota Armstrong, Tim George Jr., James Busher, Sean Corr, Alex Kennedy, and Joey Coulter.
Those 6 cars restarted up front.
Battle for the lead, side by side for the first time. Tim George Jr. on the outside, James Busher pushing him.
It looks like James Busher's going to stay behind the 31 and help him get by that 22 of Dakota Armstrong. We'll see what happens to James Busher now if he gets hung out to dry. Joey Coulter in the 16 just behind that 51.
These cars running side by side is great news for Bobby Gerhardt and all the Venturini cars that came down pit road on this most recent caution.
Big hole in the air in front of them, and so they will try to freight train back up to the front and see if they can catch up to this lead pack.
Where Tim George Jr. has a big lead right now. He may be a sitting duck when those guys get to him, Kenny.
It's amazing when they're 2 and 3 wide. You even use less throttle then, so you save more fuel when they get like that.
See, Brandon McReynolds on the very outside, making it 3 wide. Has Patrick Shelter right behind him pushing.
Tim George Jr. was scored as your race leader when they crossed the stripe. Here comes Dakota Armstrong. He's been out front all but 1 lap of this race.
How about the job Alex Kennedy is doing in that 38 car right now on the inside behind Tim George, running 3rd for the moment, maybe running 2nd right now before I can finish the sentence.
Ricky Carmichael in the number 4, 3 cars back on the inside line. He's one of the cars that has been to pit road. Justin Marks behind him in the 32. That inside line working well again. We see Craig Ghost just behind the 32 of Justin Marks, also on that inside line. Dakota Armstrong right in the middle of this pack.
Remember that single file racing we saw at the start of it?
Yeah, business has really picked up, hasn't it?
It looks like we have 2 or 3 laps to go, and we have 60 laps to go.
We've got a lot of laps still remaining here at Talladega. As we see the 4 of Ricky Carmichael, he moved out of line on the bottom, trying to make something else work. Now he's up in front of the high line as Dakota Armstrong runs in the middle of the pack. Three wide as they come in front of the grandstands.
There's Kenny's car, the 52 on the inside, about 7th or 8th back. Bill Baird. You see Ricky Carmichael had a great run in Daytona back in February, finished in the 7th spot in this race in the ARCA series.
Most of the time, if you get 6, 7 cars on the inside, 6, 7 on the outside, eventually that inside line will win out. Just that little bit shorter distance.
Because they essentially run the same speed.
They run the same speed, yes, sir.
Moving back and forth, trying to figure out which line to stay in. Dakota Armstrong now on the high side, trying to stay in front of the 4 of Ricky Carmichael.
James Butcher, the 51, right behind Ricky. See Bobby Gerhart in the middle now, about third in line behind Sean Corr in the 82.
Yeah, and Mark Thompson in that 66. He got a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, both of those cars were on pit road the very last time they were able to under caution on lap 31.
Goes another move to the outside, trying to take over the top spot.
Alex Kennedy wants to take a stab at maybe leading this race.
The 38 moving to the outside of the 31. It's Tim George Jr. that's making that inside line work. Craig Ghost now up to second in this race.
4 wide going in turn 3. Mark Thompson dives down in front of the 32 of Justin Marks.
That third car up, or in that 4 wide, was Mr. Gerhart back up there.
They have got to use caution, making their way through 3 and 4 and back into the tri-oval as they spread out once again. 4 wide coming through the tri-oval.
This looks a little bit ominous right here. This group.
As you mentioned, it looks like there's maybe 10 laps to go, but there's actually 57 laps remaining in this race.
This is why my 14-year-old son doesn't want to be a race car driver. He says, Daddy, that just doesn't, looks a little bit dangerous.
You know, people talk all the time about physically demanding, how racing can be physically demanding. This is not that physically demanding, but it's mentally exhausting running out there 3 and 4 wide for lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, at over 190 miles an hour, and as I said earlier, sometimes you're inches from the car next to you or in front of you or behind you.
Or all above, all the above.
And trying to look 2 directions. Try and look out the windshield and up in the right front and out the mirror. And the side spot mirror, it's just, your head's just constantly moving around.
Riding along with Steve Arpin in the number 55.
Now he had a huge run there, had to check up to stay in line.
Had to pedal a little bit. Look at Chase Mattioli, the 14 car on the inside.
Bobby Gerhart leading that outside line. Let's see if it starts to move.
Justin Marks, the 32, right behind him. There's Mikey Kyle, the 25. Alex Kennedy now, the 38, hung in the middle.
Steve Arpin again came onto pit road under this most recent caution. Wendy, what happened?
Well, right now in between this draft, he feels he has a right front fender rub. If you guys get a good look at it, you may be able to see better than I can, but Steve Arpin feels like his right front fender is rubbing when they got down and dirty in that draft.
It looks like maybe the letters have been rubbed off the tire, but I don't see any telltale smoke. Do you, Kenny?
No, I don't see any.
And that would have happened if someone would have got into the side of him to get the letters rubbed off. Now they're 2 wide as they go down the backstretch. They'll span out here in just a moment, and they'll be 3 and 4 as they go through 3 and 4. It's the ARCA Racing Series on speed.